What's up, you guys? Welcome to the video. Today we are going to be talking about something that I get asked about every single day, and that topic, as you can tell by the title of the video, is how to break through weight loss plateaus. Now, if you do not know what a weight loss plateau is, it's basically just a sticking point. So say you've been losing weight, you've lost 50 pounds, but for some reason you have 30 pounds to lose and you just cannot lose any more weight. That is a weight loss plateau. Now, the first thing I want to say about plateaus is that if you are struggling with them, there's nothing wrong with you. Happens to everybody. I struggle with them as well, but I hope this video will be able to give you some tips to maybe get out of a plateau and hopefully, ultimately, just avoid them altogether. The first and most important thing, I think personally, is you have to be very honest with yourself and with the other person that you might be working with when you are struggling with the plateau. The reason that I say this is because I've helped a lot of people lose weight, and more often than not, when they come up to me and they say, I'm struggling with this plateau, I'm really doing everything that I can, I'm really, I'm not messing up on my diet, I'm not doing anything wrong. When I start to talk to them and really start to dig, they're almost always, I don't want to say always, but there almost always is something. Every Saturday they're going out to eat with friends and they're eating too much, or they're drinking, and when they drink they tend to eat a little bit more, or they are just eating a little bit more at night, but they don't want to admit that. When you are struggling with the plateau, if you're not being honest, the person that you're hurting is yourself. Now, tip number 2 is going to be about not starting out too fast. The analogy that I like to use is, think about a marathon runner, right? If there's a marathon runner and they decide to sprint right out of the gate and run as fast as they possibly can for maybe even the first mile, how much gas are they going to have left in the tank for the rest of the marathon? Now, I understand that the marathon analogy is pretty cheesy, but I really do feel like it summarizes weight loss in a really, really good way. When I say if you start out too fast, what I mean by that is if you decide that you're gonna just completely cut out almost every calorie known to man, and you decide that you're gonna eat 700 calories at the very beginning of your weight loss, you will be first for the first mile, right? For the first mile of the marathon, you will be number 1. You would have lost an insane amount of weight. I can promise you that. But when you start to get to mile 13, 14, 15, you have nothing else to cut out. You have nothing else to manipulate and mess with. So if you start out too fast, if you start out too low of calories, you're setting yourself up for failure, and you're setting yourself up for just so many problems later down in the road. And the same thing goes with over-exercising. So if you start your weight loss journey and you decide, I'm gonna go to the gym and be on the treadmill for 3 hours every single day, I just don't see that being sustainable in the long run, because when you do have to maybe manipulate and you do hit a plateau, what are you gonna do? Do 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours on the stair climber? The best example I feel like I can give for this out of personal experience is when I did my men's physique show and I cut down to my lowest body fat, my lowest weight ever, which was 180 pounds. The way that I did my cardio was I started with 15 minutes. That's the most that I would do for the first few weeks. And then I would just add 5 minutes and then add 5 minutes. By the end of the cut, the very, very end, I was doing 40 minutes. So I was just adding 5 minutes incrementally, slowly, not starting with 60 minutes of cardio right at the beginning, starting slow, because you can see what your body does, how is your body reacting, and then you can add in small amounts of cardio, and then you will hopefully see the results by not just jumping to doing 4 hours of cardio, because I don't want to do 4 hours of cardio a day, and I'm assuming you probably don't want to do that either. Tip number 3 is probably one that a lot of you guys probably don't want to hear, but I think it is incredibly, incredibly important, especially if you're hitting a plateau, and that tip is going to be start tracking what you're eating. The reason that I put this as number 3 and maybe not number 1 is that if you can lose weight and you're not hitting a plateau and you don't have to track your food and you feel like you're doing fine without it, then more power to you. That's awesome. But if you are stuck in a plateau and you're not tracking your food, seriously, it will help. I can almost guarantee it. Now, obviously, if you want to start tracking, it's probably a good idea to know how many calories you should eat. Now, I have a really, seriously, I bring this up all the time, but I have a really good video on my channel. I will make it the first link in the description, where that will explain your TDEE. What your TDEE is your total daily energy expenditure. Basically, it's a formula that will help you know how many calories your body is burning throughout a day. And when you know how many calories your body is burning throughout the day, you will know how many calories you need to eat to lose weight. It's a very simple process. Seriously, just check out that video. It has all the links down there, and that should help you understand how many calories should I be eating, and then you'll be able to start tracking your food. With tracking food, the reason that I think it's very important is because a lot of people don't realize how many calories are in certain things. Like with peanut butter, a lot of people will make maybe a peanut butter sandwich, or they'll put peanut butter in their oatmeal. But if you're not tracking and you're not weighing out how much peanut butter you're using, you could go from 1 serving to 2 servings, and that will add an extra basically 200 calories to your meal that you maybe didn't even realize you were putting in there. So tracking is so important because the more knowledge you have and the more information that you have, the better decisions you can make. And when you're able to make better decisions, you're obviously going to be more successful. I get slightly frustrated when people say that they cannot break a weight loss plateau, they can't do it, and then I'm like, okay, well let's start tracking your calories. And they're like, no, I don't want to track my food. That's too much. If you're really serious about breaking a plateau, you will do what you might not want to do. You'll do things that might make you uncomfortable or might make you feel a little weird or like this is gonna be really difficult. If you're that serious about it, you will make those changes. And like for me, I didn't want to track my food. I was that person that was like, tracking your food is ridiculous. Like that's so obsessive. That's insane. I'm not saying you have to track for the rest of your life, but if you're able to track for about 3 months, you'll understand, how big a serving of peanut butter actually is and how much calories are in this certain meal that you eat every single day. It is just so valuable to at least understand how to track food because you will make better decisions when you are going out to eat with friends and when you are making food at home yourself. One more point I want to make about tracking is that at the beginning it is daunting and it is scary and it is hard to understand and it does take a while to get used to, but I think I can be a testament to that. It can be done. You can learn how to do it and you can become very comfortable with it. Like I said, when I started, did not want to track. Now, if I have to track, it's not an issue. I can do it very, very easily. This next point is something that is so overlooked when it comes to losing weight, and I don't understand why. So when you are losing weight, I think it is very important to recalculate how many calories you should be eating every few months. Think about it like this. If you're 300 pounds, you need to eat more calories than you do when you are 250 pounds. Your body doesn't need as many calories. So you might be hitting a plateau because you're eating the same amount of calories as you did when you were 50 pounds heavier, right? So if you're 50 pounds heavier, you're gonna need more calories. But if you drop down to 250, first off, congratulations, that's awesome, but you're probably gonna need a little bit less calories. Basically what I'm trying to say here is the bigger you are, the more calories you need. So as you're losing weight, you need to understand that you need to recalculate your calories because your caloric needs are going to drop as your weight drops as well. Another great example from my Men's Physique show is when I was 360 pounds, I was able to eat a good amount of food and honestly, I was able to mess up a little bit more, but still see pounds drop throughout the week. When I got down to 180 pounds, the leanest I've ever been, there was no messing up. Like I couldn't mess up. I was at a lot lower calories than I was when I was 360 pounds. It's just how your body works. The bigger you are, more calories you need. The smaller you are, the less calories you need. So make sure that you are making those adjustments as you're losing weight. This next tip is a very basic one, but I think it's a very useful one as well. So the next tip is go back to basics. I noticed for myself, when I first started to lose weight, I made sure that I stayed away from all of that stuff, all of the really basic, obvious things that you need to cut out. But as I was losing weight, I would see myself kind of add them in a little bit and add them in a little bit. And I'm not saying you can never have a candy bar. I'm not saying you can never have chips, but seriously, just think to yourself, okay, is the food that I'm eating helping me towards my goal? And seriously, like, it should help you. I really think that just going back to basics just for a little bit will help you maybe make the right decisions as you're progressing through your weight loss journey. And this final tip is one that I've been getting asked about more and more and more recently. So I want to talk about refeed days when it comes to weight loss. Now, what a refeed day is it's a day that you decide to eat higher calories. Now, those calories are pretty much supposed to all come from carbohydrates. And in doing this, you're hoping to increase your metabolism slightly and increase your leptin levels. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but basically when you're dieting, your metabolism is going down slightly because you're getting less mass, right? You're becoming a smaller human being. And as you do a refeed day, it's supposed to hopefully spike that metabolism up a little bit and make it so obviously your mood is increased because you're eating a little bit more food. And those leptin levels are pretty much what regulates your hunger and your satiety levels as well in your body. So it's supposed to spike all that up for a day and hopefully increase that fat loss and increase that metabolism. That is a very, very, very bare bones basic rundown of refeeds. I can make videos upon videos, and there already are a ton of videos on refeed days and why they're important and why they help and why they don't help, and there's just a ton of information out there, but I will make sure that I link a really good article down below if you are interested in maybe implementing refeed days into your fat loss. For me, I never found a need to really feel like I needed to implement them and do them all the time. Now, what I do like about refeeds is a lot of people kind of compare them to cheat days or cheat meals, but what I like about them is that they are a lot more calculated and you have a lot more reason behind the foods that you're eating. Like I said, this is a very basic rundown, so make sure you click that link if you're a lot more interested and you want to learn a lot more. It has all of the information you'll need. So there you guys go. Those are my best tips on how to break through plateaus and hopefully just avoid them altogether. Now with videos like this, as always, I would love to hear your guys' comments and your opinions and what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. So I'd love to hear that down in the comment section down below. And if you guys have any topics that you guys would like me to talk about that might be able to help you, seriously, I would love to hear them. So again, leave those down in the comment section as well. I do want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do genuinely hope that it helps some of you guys out. Again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look up my fam! Say bye, thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye, thanks for watching, everyone.
I hope my uncle helped you.
I think my uncle hugged you.
That's close enough.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.